Hey there. Hello, 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 hello. Thank you guys for being here today, or girls. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, wow, day 4. This is like we're rocking along here this week. So thank you. And there's going to be a lot coming up still. For those of you who are wondering, I'll be live again tomorrow. Tomorrow it's only one time, 3 p.m. Central. And then I'm going to be in the Facebook group all weekend. How about that? Let's say that. I'll be in the Facebook group all weekend. And at that point, you can ask questions. You can you can follow up with me on things that I've talked with you about personally or in the group. Doesn't matter. I will be there. Okay. And so I'm going to do something real quick while, give me 1 second to add someone to the group. Hey, Tina, we have gone live and thank you for being here. Would you do me a favor and just stop your mic for right now until we get to Q&A? I didn't set it up properly. Like normally I set it up so mics are automatically muted, and instead I've got to ask everybody. So sorry about that. As you'll learn, lots of technology, not always on top of it. So we're waiting for people to get here. I'm going to give people a couple of minutes. And if y'all don't mind, while I'm waiting, I'm just going to tell a story and it has nothing to do and a little bit to do with what we're with y'all. So see my flowers in the back? Like, aren't they gorgeous? So yesterday I worked out. I got really sweaty and then I didn't think about it. And I'm sitting here and I'm working nasty, right? Nasty, sweaty, dirty. And all of a sudden I think, oh my gosh, I got to be live in about 45 minutes and I should at least take a shower. So I jump up to do that and I see this dog run across the front of my yard. And dogs don't run loose here. So I ran outside, called the dog. I don't know why I'm calling the dog because then I would have a dog and we wouldn't be having a call. But the dog kept going. So I just by chance called my neighbor and said, "Do you have a dog, Brindle, blah, blah, blah." She's like, "Yes, yes, yes. That dog doesn't know what she's doing. She'll be in trouble. She'll be lost." And I'm like, "Okay, well, call your husband. And if he doesn't put her in, call me back." So I'm in the shower. I hear the phone ringing. I jump out and it's her. And she's like, "He's not home. Can you help me?" So I throw on my robe, throw on my tennis shoes. My hair is sticking every which way, right? I'm still wet from the shower. And I go running out the door. And because my neighborhood's a little strange, here comes the guy down the street with his 2 dogs. One of them's a wiener dog who pull him on his skateboard every day. So they're flying down the street. This dog's running loose and I'm in my robe. So I'm stopping the guy with the skateboard and I'm, getting this dog corralled into her yard. And so the dog gets safe. And in the meanwhile, the woman is like, my neighbor is freaking out because she's afraid something's going to happen to the dog. And everything works out. I even combed my hair in time for the call. And then last night she came by and brought me those roses. So I thought, that was so sweet. And it was just one of those crazy moments that happen in life. So how is everybody today? Let me know. Give me thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell me I got a thumbs up on Zoom. Thank you, Tina. That's cool. And Sheila, I know that Tina's a dog lover because she has a dog as her photo on Zoom. So I could tell that story. Actually, I think we have a lot of dog lovers in here because Steph is big on posting the reminders that include dog photos, cat photos, guinea pig photos. We don't care. Okay. I'm getting started. So I want to talk about something today. And for once, I am actually this week on track with what I sent an email out about. We talked about triggers the other day, and I think yesterday, absolutely, we talked about soothers. But what we didn't talk about were the ideas of substitutions versus replacements. And it's a big thing. And it's a very slight distinction, but there's a big thing there. And the difference is that when we're trying to change our behavior, okay, we're trying to change our, not eating sugar, not drinking the wine, whatever it is, we're trying to change that behavior. When we're trying to change that behavior, if we just look for things to substitute. Okay. This is when the low sugar, or what do you call it? Like the diet stuff comes in. This is when I mentioned, I don't know if y'all remember this, but one of my people was stopping wine, and she was concerned. she was stopping wine and sugar. She had both things going on, and she was concerned. And so I had just said in passing that there's this company out there that makes botanical wine. So it's all it really is probably flavored water. I mean, and I'm not being facetious to the company. I mean, there's just nothing in it but some herbs and water, but it comes in a wine bottle and it looks like wine, so on and so forth. So she immediately bought it. And I told her, I said, you're using that as a substitution. So you're not changing your behavior, you're changing what you consume. There's a big difference, right? So she's consuming this wine, which it wasn't, as if she was having wine. And so I said, my suggestion to her was that she find a replacement. And that's where, like we talked about yesterday, possibly using a soother, like a tea ritual, or a soother like, and I'm going to come back to soothers in a second, but using a soother or using a replacement that's a healthy choice that has nothing to do with what your issue is. Okay. Same thing. Like I'm not picking on her, because in the same group, we immediately people were looking for, what can I substitute chocolate? Like, what substitutions are out there for chocolate? Where can I find a healthy sugar-free chocolate? And instead of thinking that way, think about what you can do that is different but the same. And by that I mean using a replacement. Maybe it is a soother, or using a replacement that instead of looking for someone posted this in the group one time, and it's in the upcoming sugar reset group. And it was like a replacement for it was ice cream, roughly, but it had like no fat, it had no sugar, it had no this, no that. I mean, it was really kind of disgusting, actually. That's a substitution. So instead of looking for the things that you can substitute, start thinking about ways you can replace whatever it is that you don't want to be doing. Instead of the nasty ice cream, maybe you replace that with the soother, like we talked yesterday, which would be like the bubble bath. And I was thinking about soothers. For those of you who didn't see yesterday, I'm not going to dive straight into soothers right now, but I will just give you a rough idea. A soother is something that you do or have that is a replacement that allows you to that is an alternative. Okay, I'm just going to say that's an alternative. How's that? How about that? To something else. And so some of the soothers I talked about yesterday were the tea ritual. Good tea, like, going out and buying yourself a nice loose leaf tea. Doing some of the other things were, like, for me, some of my soothers are the things that I love to do, like going kayaking or going hiking or things like that. Those are soothers for me. But then I also thought this morning, I was using, like, I have some special bath oils that I don't always use. And I was using them this morning because I was rushing again today. And I went, you know what? I don't want to rush. I want to slow. I need to slow down and relax. And to do that, I'm going to pull out the bath oil and treat it as a soother. So those are the kinds of things that I want you to be thinking about. The word self-care is highly overused, I think. So instead of saying self-care, I'm just going to think about something that you just make yourself feel good with. Okay? So thinking about those. All right. Questions about the difference between substituting and replacing. Anybody? I'm just going to wait for a second to give you all a chance. I know that Diana said yesterday, and I thought this was brilliant. She said, soothers are the things that we should tell our partner about. that we like, so that when we get in that state, whether it's a, a state of anxiety or upset or triggered or whatever it is, they know that they can, use one of our soothers. The other thing I suggested with a soother is that you keep a list, because it's one of those things that when we're being triggered or when we're in a state that isn't empowering, um, that's when we're not going to be thinking about the soothers, right? If you think about it, like when you get in a state like that, you don't think about the things that you want. You think about the things that you don't want, right? It's what we're moving away from instead of moving toward. So thinking about keeping a list of soothers that you like, keeping I started a different list. So digressing for just a second. So I started a list a couple months ago that was what I'm going to do when I can resume life in a way that is more similar to what it used to be. Like, what am I going to do when I could, when I can do that? And I noticed that a lot of those things were things I would call soothers. Getting a massage, right? I mean, that's a big one. For me, going out and getting my toenails done, like that's a big one, because I quite frankly don't like doing it myself. But there were other ones in there, other soothers, like maybe a big kayaking trip. So if you hang out with me anytime, you'll learn that I figure out a way every day to get kayak in the world. I use that word too much, but it's something I love. So looking for those things that you happen to love. Anyone on here want to toss out what they would use as a soother? And if not, I'm going to keep going. Oh, thanks, Steph. Steph just put up the, I did a video actually on the difference between soothers and substitutions and replacements. And the lighting was terrible, but it was a very heartfelt video, because in that particular group that I did it for, like, they just kept coming up with replacements. I mean, substitutions. They were just like every day when I looked at the group, there were 15 different things. They're like, well, why can't we eat this? Or why can't we eat that? In the end, let's think about this for a second. What we're talking about is not that much time, okay? What we're really talking about is doing something for 30 days that has the effect, like a life-term effect for us, all right? So that's like the transformation. Like, what happens? Think about it. Like, what happens is that sugar is really, really addictive. It's really interesting because it is so highly addictive. And I've mentioned this before, but I mean, bottom line on sugar, the reason it's so highly addictive is it just makes our brain super excited. Our brain gets happy. So so that starts it. But then we develop the habits that that follow it. Okay. So whatever. I'm going to go back to triggers, using that word already. So we get a trigger. In the past, we used sugar to relieve that trigger. Okay. And so then what happens is, now we do that a couple of times, do it 3 times, maybe 4, and we're starting to create a habit. Once we create a habit, right, we create something that we're going to do consistently again and again. Our brain takes over, and it's not only getting happy from the sugar now, but now it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is it's creating an easy path for us to follow, right? Because when we have easy paths to follow, then we can get on with life. It's like, every day you don't relearn getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, all those things. Like, it's not a relearning process, right? So that's what happens when we develop a habit. We just kind of like create this little path, and then every time we do it, the path gets a little bit more deep, and then it becomes a rut, and then it becomes a thing, right? So we've gone from something that's super highly addictive to something that's just a way of life. It's done. And I'm not going to tell the story right now, but I will just say that I alluded before that probably my thing, like if you want to know what my thing is, When it comes to sugar, it's drinking Coca-Cola, and that drinking Coca-Cola was, and it's not like I don't do it a lot, like, like really, if I'm just like counting it, I probably have 10 Cokes a year, maybe, probably not even that anymore. But it's what I get triggered to want. Okay. It's not whether or not I act, it's what I get triggered to want. And it's because of a whole series of instances that I set up unknowingly, right? I just didn't even realize that I was creating them. So we know this. We know that sugar is highly addictive. We know that also is that if we can get from where we are, where we're either not feeling good, we're moody, we're waking up feeling bad, we're waking up in the middle of the night with sugar shame, we're low on energy, we're not sleeping well, we're taking drugs, like all those things, right? Like all the okay, sorry. Can I say it? All the sugar shit over here, right? Like everything that happened that causes it. Then when we can get over here, that's where we have power over it, right? We've gone from all the stuff to all the things that we want. And when we have power over it, that's when we've got the vitality. That's when we've got the energy. That's when we've got the sleep. That's when we get off the drugs. That's when we lose the belly, right? Like, I mean, Donna mentioned in here a couple of days ago that she's lost 9 pounds, which is a lot of weight. Like, I mean, that's a lot of weight, quite frankly. And I didn't even know she was doing this, but she's done it since she started the sugar reset beginning of February. So what is that? A month and a half? I mean, that's amazing to me. So, we want to get from over here, we'll just call it SS instead of sugar shit, over here to the part where we feel great. We've got the vitality back, and we can make the decisions, right? Because when you have all the tools and all the tactics to go from being pushed around by sugar, pushed around by habits, to making decisions, then it's not a big deal. Because then you can decide whether you want to eat the ice cream. Then you just can decide whether you want to, have a Coke or whatever it is. I don't really care what it is. Couldn't care less. Whatever it is. And when you get to that point, you can also say, whoa, wait a second. I'm slipping back down that rut. I'm slipping back down that brain training, that habit creation. And now I need to just pull these tools back out and use them again. And it does happen. Okay. I'm not going to be like saying this is fairy dust and that when you change a habit, it stays changed, because the truth is that when you go from here and you get sugar free, right? So now you're creating a new habit, and then you start doing the thing that you used to do. All those neural pathways are still laid in your brain. Okay. And they're laid really well. Like, I mean, really well. So then if you start catching yourself slipping back into that behavior you don't want, that's when you go in and you pull out all these tools that we've talked about so far and that we talk and use in the Sugar Reset program. Because changing your brain isn't hard, but it requires action. Okay. It really does. It requires taking action, because if we don't, we're just going to keep doing the same thing that we always do. And so we don't want that. Okay. Questions about that? Anybody? Okay. Then I have decided to do something tomorrow that I hadn't actually planned on doing. And I'm splitting the time difference. It's going to be at 3:00. Okay. Which is 3:00 Central. But I'm going to go ahead and do basically a masterclass that pulls everything together that we've talked about. Okay. I want to just go, and it could go a little long. All right. I'm just going to warn you. It could go a little long. I will do my best to keep my mouth talking fast and short, but I mean, it could easily be an hour. Okay. But if I can just pull everything together for you from start to finish, then then A, if you haven't watched all the videos, this should handle that video issue for you. But B, I just want people to really go through the flow, okay, and feel it. So that's going to be tomorrow, 3 p.m. Today, I'm going to just tell y'all, we start another sugar reset next week, okay? It's 30 days. If it's bad timing for you, it's okay, because it's bad timing for everybody. It's bad timing for me, actually, if you really want to know. So the timing doesn't matter, because we teach it in the group. We teach it in the private group, not here, but in the actual private group. So I teach it in there. We save everything for you so that you can do it whenever you want to. Donna, who I mentioned earlier, she called herself, I think, Day After Donna or Day Late Donna, something like that, because she couldn't make any of the calls when I actually went live, but she'd listen to the video the next day and then ask me questions, and we were like spot on. So I start that next week. It starts middle of next week, and it'll go for actually not quite 30 days. It's going to go for 5 weeks. Okay. Because, and the reason it's longer than 30 days, I don't want to terrify anybody, but the reason it's longer than 30 days is that at the very end, we have a maintenance program, because you want to know how to, go through this and actually be able to, hang on for 1 second. Hey, sorry guys, but I have someone who I just put into the Zoom, but your microphone is not off. Could you turn that microphone off for me? Actually, never mind. I just got you. So sorry about that, y'all. And it's my fault. Whoever that is who came in on Zoom is totally my fault, because for some reason we don't have the mic set to mute. So excuse me for doing that. But the reason it's 5 weeks, okay, is because I add a maintenance week on there. And what the maintenance week does is it allows you to feel what it's going to be like to incorporate this back into living life however it is that you choose, whether that choice is that you're going to be sugar-free forever, or whether that choice is that you're going to occasionally have something, or maybe that choice is that you decide, weekends are going to be sugar feasts and weeks during the week is going to be sugar freedom. Doesn't matter. But the trick is to make sure that you know how to incorporate back in under a maintenance period. So it is 5 weeks. You have full access to everything. Okay. And Donna's back in, and she says she's listening again because it's working so well for you. Thank you, Donna. Really, truly. Thank you. So if Steph or Nico are on, if you guys could drop the link to the reset program in, that would be awesome. And I just want to tell y'all, like, what happens in there, what you get in the reset program. You get basically me. Sorry. You got a lot of me, maybe too much, Kelly, but you get a lot of me. And I do trainings every week. Okay. And thanks, Nico. So I do the training in there every week. I am in the group a lot, and I am happy to do Q&As anytime someone wants one. We have I don't know, call it a VIP program this time. So if you want to actually get a lifetime membership, you can, and which is cool, because then you can always repeat this. And you also get more, Kelly, sorry. You'll get more of me because you do a one-on-one with me, and I want to work with you to lay out exactly what it is that you need to get done. Okay. So that's part of it. The other part of it that's really cool is the community, because you end up with this community that you can participate in texts, like small text groups if you want, which has been super helpful for a lot of people, because I know one of the texts that I saw that one of the groups I was in said, I'm in trouble, right? I'm in trouble. It was a Saturday night. She's like, I'm in Walgreens. Sorry. This is a little text said, I'm in Walgreens. I'm in the candy aisle, and I'm getting ready to go down. And someone in the text group saw it. They're like, no, let's talk. Just pick up the phone and call me before you do this. And the next day, the person who had texted this texted me, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, they saved my bacon last night because I felt so good when I woke up this morning because I didn't have a sugar hangover." And this was someone who has had sugar hangovers on and off a lot lately. So that's a cool thing with the text, because it's not just me in the text. Like, I'm in the text a little bit. These are, everybody like cheerleading each other on, which I love. Um, you there's other pieces to it. Like, basically there's like weekly trainings. We do accountability. I'm I think accountability is super important. You may have heard, if any of you are listen to my podcast, you might have heard me on this one particular episode, but it was kind of interesting. I had a coach. I actually always have a coach. Like, I think coaches are super important. And for me, my coaches are usually business and mindset coaches. Not fitness coaches really, but business and mindset coaches. And so this particular business coach was for me for a year, and he was a very, very expensive coach. And I said something in the group about accountability. And he said, accountability, excuse me, y'all, I'm going to say it again, but he said, accountability is bullshit. And I went, wait a second, I don't think so. And everyone else agreed with me. We went, you know what? When you have accountability, you know that the community has your back. Like, when you have accountability, and the way I use accountability is like, we'll toss something out. We'll say, hey, you know what, this week, everybody agrees that when you get triggered, we're going to try one of three things. We're going to try doing Wonder Woman, or we're going to try doing, I don't know, a blessing, or gratitude, or we're going to do this. We decide on this. And so everybody just like, we'll check in with each other. Hey, how's your accountability going? So I think that is so exciting and so helpful. And Anne says she's been doing this for 6 months and she's lost over 30 pounds. That's brilliant, Anne. Congratulations. And, I know this isn't about losing weight, but it is also about losing weight when you've got something you want to get rid of. Like, I am somebody who's super fortunate. Okay. I'm very active, and I don't really gain weight. I can't say that this year, because over 2020, I put on some weight. I don't know what it is. I mean, lucky for me, it wasn't a ton, because I was working off the crazies by doing cardio like nobody's business. But I quit going to the gym. I stopped my gym membership for, the time we were in lockdown. And I found my jeans were getting tight and uncomfortable. So even for me, like, I think that taking that extra weight off, whatever it is really, really important for us, because it makes us feel better, and it makes us look better. When we look better, we feel good. Like, when we feel good, we look good. All of those things, they all dovetail together, right? All right. Questions. Does anyone have any questions? There is actually a bonus this time around. There's only one bonus, but there is a bonus, and it is my multiplier course. And this course, what it does is it helps you stay on track whenever you need that little extra boost. And it's all the things that I use. These are all things that I've created, that I've used for years, that keep me on track. And when I say on track, it's like, if I put my fitness schedule on the wall, right? That's part of my thing. Do it every week. So I put my fitness schedule on the wall, and maybe it's Thursday, and maybe it's a really, really busy day for me. And my first thought is, oh, well, maybe I can just like slide everything till tomorrow, and, and I'll just all pack it in on Friday. And instead of doing that, I actually pull out of one of my, what I call the multipliers. I pull out a multiplier, and they're all quick, 3 minutes, basically, maybe 5 minutes on some of them. And I do the exercise, and it's not like a fitness exercise. It's a brain thing. And then I'm like, okay, right, Kel, just knock out your exercise, knock out your workout, and be done. Same thing with sugar, right? If I'm doing a sugar reset, And like I said, I'm going to be doing this one with y'all. And I start finding myself thinking, I don't know, I'm not even triggered. I'm not motivated, right? I'm just not feeling it. Then I just pull out one of the multipliers, do it. Some of them would take 1 minute and I'm back on track. So I like, if I said it once, I was going to say it 1 million times to y'all. I like things easy. I like things simple. I like things quick. I do not believe in like no pain, no gain. I don't believe in lots and lots of work for something. I believe in finding the easiest, quickest ways to get what it is that we want. So, all right, I'm going to stop for a second and see if there are any questions. Any questions, anybody? And I'm looking in Zoom, and I'm also looking over here in Facebook. And I'm not seeing any questions. So who's going to join me? Okay. Actually, I'm just going to ask that. And I'm like putting everybody on the spot, and everybody's going to be like, oh, thank goodness I'm hiding behind Facebook because she doesn't know I'm here. But, if you're thinking about joining me, I'd love to know that you are, because I like to know who's in with me. And I like to know, the sooner I know, the better I can help you or serve you. Because once I know, what some of the things are, then if I know some of the things are, oh, Donna's in again. Cool. Okay, Donna, we start next week. And then the other thing is too, is that if you're not doing the program with me, which is totally okay. Like I know that I know not everybody wants to do this with me. But if you aren't doing the program with me, you have until Sunday night to ask me all the questions so you can try it on your own. Okay. And if you think about it, we've gone over a lot of things this week that give you a lot of tactics. I mean, there's a lot of tactics out there to basically, most of the stuff I use is either NLP, or I use self-hypnosis. And then I use a lot of mind shifting tactics. Like those are like, if you were going to ask me what the bottom line is, those are all mental. But then we also have to use the physical things. Okay. I saw a lot of people talking about the gold stars the other day. Brilliant, brilliant. Because when we take the mindset, we take the mental, we add the physical actions and the physical tactics, I call them tactical tactics, then what's going to happen is that it comes back to that word, easy. It makes it easier, because if we don't have things easy, then we're always trying to depend on willpower. And for those of you who have listened all along, you know that the first time I did this, I did it like what I called white knuckling and willpower. I didn't even engage the brain that I have. I didn't engage the brain that knows all these tactics, that's been teaching these things forever. I don't know what I did. I just went into brain lethargy, I guess. And I just did it as best I could for 30 days. And it wasn't any fun. And I didn't want to continue when I got done. So, and I'm not saying that you need to continue when you get done, but what I do suggest is that we do it in a way that makes it a possibility that you can pick this back up whenever you want to. So, all right. Any other questions? Anything? I'm gonna let you guys get going. I hope you join me. I do. And I hope you also realize that I am here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And during the weekend, I'll be in and out of the Facebook. I'll probably drop in and do a live real quick, something like that. But I will be checking comments. I will be looking for questions, and you can also email me anytime. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be big. I've never actually done a free masterclass before. Not like this. So this will be a free masterclass for all of you, or all y'all, as we say in the South. And I'm just going to go from start to finish, and we're going to run through it like wild people. So thank you. And I will see you guys either tonight or tomorrow. Take care now. Bye bye.